Welcome back to my channel. So today I've got my mic clipped onto my clothes because I need my hands free. I'm having some warm water because I'm not feeling 100%, but today we're going to be talking about some weird things that you would find in a Swedish kitchen. And I'm going to complement that with some of the weird things that you would find in a Sri Lankan kitchen. For those of you watching from abroad and want to know more about Sweden, I've got the Swedish things. And then for those of you living in Sweden, I thought it would be fun for you to see some of the strange, weird things that we have in the kitchen in Sri Lanka. So let's jump into the video. For those of you new, as always, my name is Shalika Marker. I was brought up in Sri Lanka, and for the last 15 years I've been living here in Sweden. So Sweden has become as much my home as Sri Lanka is, and today we're going to cover some of these weird kitchen items that we have in both of these countries. Now I'm wondering, does it make me weird that I have actually all of these things in my own kitchen here in Sweden? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is this contraption. This is called a hiramane in Sri Lanka. It is used to grate your coconut. Now it comes in a number of different styles. The original one is a bigger version. This is a travel version. Not that I grate a lot of coconut here in Sweden, but the tag is still on. And if I did want to grate some coconut, I could. Now, this contraption is used like this, like coffee cup out of the way. So this is a hiramane. Now I'm right-handed, so I'm going to put it this way. You want to have a bowl at the bottom, and I don't have a coconut, but we're going to pretend that this is a coconut. This is actually a coconut shell. So basically what you would do this, if you think you get the other side, you crack your coconut open, you've taken off all of the husk, you've got your coconut meat inside, like over here, and then you hold this over the bowl and you grate your coconut. You grate all of it and it becomes like coconut, shredded coconut in the bowl. And so that's the meat you would use to add water and squeeze out all of the coconut milk. Now we don't have to do any of that here in Sweden, but it's a staple in most Sinhalese homes or in Sri Lanka. Unless of course you're like my mom and you're living alone in a flat, you're an older lady, you can buy obviously canned coconut milk and it's pretty good as well. You don't have to go through this whole process, but it's definitely something that you would find in Sri Lankan homes. And in comparison to this, I've got this. For those of you watching from abroad and have absolutely no idea what this is a cheese slicer, a staple in any Swedish home. I suppose probably a staple in most Scandinavian homes. It's a great contraption. I don't know how I ever lived without it. Well, I do, because in other countries you usually get your cheese sliced. In Sweden we buy block cheese, and because you buy block cheese, it's cheaper. You use this to grate, sorry, not grate, but you choose this to slice off your cheese. It becomes a really nice thin slice. If you want to have more cheese, you add in a few more slices, but it is a staple in Swedish homes and I love it. I think it's really great. I didn't have any block cheese, unfortunately, today. I need to go to the shop and buy, but I did have some cheddar cheese. Now, the reason I have cheddar cheese here in my home is because my mom's been here on holiday and she loves cheddar cheese and she can't get it in Sri Lanka. You really can't get it very easily here in Sweden either. It's not a huge thing, but obviously when I was living in England, it was a huge thing. You always had cheddar cheese and I love cheddar cheese as well. But so basically you took this like this. The cheddar cheese unfortunately does break a little bit, but the Swedish cheeses are usually not so flaky. So you would cut it like this. Basically, this is what happens. And then you would have a slice of it. Now, obviously, with the Swedish cheese, you have a bigger slice. This is very flaky, but it cuts it quite thin. It's really good for slicing cucumber, I find. You can just quickly do your cucumber and it becomes really, really thin. I'm using it for that as well. But this is a staple in Sweden. This is a staple in Sri Lanka. Next on my list of things in the kitchen is this. This is a coconut spoon, a staple in Sri Lanka. We use this for cooking, rice and curry, for serving. anything that you can think of in a kitchen, this is a basic coconut spoon that any kitchen in Sri Lanka will have. It is cheap, it is easy to make, it's very, very inexpensive. That just puts 2 nails on it. This is the wood from the coconut, and this is the coconut shell. I love them. I love to cook with them. You can't put them in the dishwasher. Unfortunately, the wood kind of gets, it's the same with wooden spoons. Now in Sweden, you have a wooden spoon. Now, this is not the strange thing I'm talking about, but so you can see the difference. This is the coconut spoon and that's the wooden spoon. Obviously, in Sweden, you have a lot of wood, so you can make these sort of beautiful wooden spoons, so beautifully carved. I love them as well. But what I want to compare the coconut spoon to is this. What is this? If anybody's watching from abroad and doesn't know what this is a Swedish butter knife. Now, this one is the one that my husband made when he was in school, and this one is the one that my son made when they were in school. Now, the Swedish butter knife is so engraved into the culture here that it is one of the first things that they create at woodwork in school. Yes, the kids in Sweden do go to woodwork in the middle school. They start woodwork. They do woodwork and sewing. That will be another video. So I love them so much for the reason that I like the coconut spoon. It's really easy to keep clean, as well as a really easy way to put your knife with your butter in the fridge. Because it's not a metal knife, it doesn't get cold to the touch, so I can use this, put it on the butter, and then I will just add this with the butter into the fridge if I wanted to. Now, I could also clean it. Cleaning is really easy because butter is a fat. There's nothing wrong with it. You could wash it, but sometimes I just take off a cloth or a little kitchen towel and I just clean it off. It's really good for the wood to have a lot of fat in it. So I love this concept here in Sweden. It's one of the staples in Swedish family, and like the cheese slicer, you will be hard pressed to find a Swedish family without a wooden butter knife, or a number of wooden butter knives, to be very honest. The next on my list is this contraption in Sri Lanka. It's called an Indiapa Vangedia, and this one in Sweden called a ricer. As you can see, they look very, very similar. This is a ricer. They use it to make mashed potatoes, or they used to make rice potatoes. It comes out like this. So you boil your potatoes and then you add it in here, and you obviously squeeze it out, and all of the potato comes out. It comes out in sort of like worms. I don't know why they call it rice potatoes, but it is quite common to have them served here in restaurants, especially up in the north of Sweden, where we come from. Well, we have our summer house. We have a pub there, and the gentleman is older gentleman, and he's old school, and he always serves most delicious fish with a bowl of this riced potatoes. They don't put very much in it. Salt or potato is just the rice potato, but obviously they give you sauce, and the idea is to put the sauce on. So this ricer is also pretty good staple in Swedish households. Maybe not all of Swedish households have it, but I do have one. I like it when I'm making mashed potatoes. Makes my mashed potatoes really soft and lovely and smooth. Now, this one is actually broken. My mom usually makes string hoppers when she comes here to Sweden for me, and she puts it in the freezer. She is such a darling. But this one is a really weird contraption. So what has happened was this has come apart. This piece usually comes out, and then you put all of your paste to make your string hoppers in there, and then you squash it down, and that has also holes like this, like the ricer, and it comes out, and then you have a small contraption that you squeeze everything and turn it around and put it on. I will add some pictures in the video. But this is another contraption that is a staple in Sri Lankan homes. It really is. It's a staple in Sri Lankan homes because they make string hoppers on a regular basis. Families will have it for breakfast or for dinner. So it definitely is a staple in all of the Sri Lankan homes. And for all of you Swedes, I thought this would be interesting because it's something you haven't seen before, and it's very similar to a ricer, actually, I think. So let's get on with the last one. Finally, of some of the weird things that you find in a Swedish kitchen and a Sri Lankan kitchen are these. Now, this is not typically weird. This is just a difference on how people cook in both countries. So in Sweden, most Swedes are used to cast iron. Most of the pots and pans are made from cast iron. This is an old cast iron pan that I found in a charity store. Like I said in my previous videos, I buy a lot of my stuff from the charity store. So it's a beautiful pan. I love cast iron. It's really great for cooking. It's very healthy for cooking. It has a beautiful handle, but in Sweden, you use a lot of cast iron. But in Sri Lanka, you use a lot of clay. So this is what you would use in Sri Lanka to cook, and this is what you would use in Sweden. Now, do all Sri Lankan families use clay pot to cook? No, they don't. They use normal pots and pans, of course. But this is traditionally how you would cook your food. You would cook your food on an open fire. So if you were to go camping, you could take these and you could make yourself a stew in these. This is the lid, obviously, because we've got a lot of clay. It's made handmade. It's beautiful. And nowadays they use this mostly for serving your food to make them look nice and presentable. But this is what it looks like. So you can put it on the fire. I have used it on the fire. You can boil milk. You can do a plethora of things in this, and they have it in different sizes. Now I have a sort of medium size because I like to make my rice and curry, and then if I have guests over or I'm having a party, then I will serve it in these. I don't particularly cook on them because you can't use them on the stove. You need to use them on the direct fire. And in Sri Lanka, a lot of the villagers, they don't have stoves. They make a wooden fire burner and then they put this on and they cook. They will cook with this and their coconut spoon. They will be mixing and all of that stuff. So that is what we use in Sri Lanka to cook, and in Sweden, traditionally, one would use cast iron. So these are the fun things that I found in my kitchen, weird things, strange things, unusual things, and different from both countries. I thought it would be fun to have a little bit of a different type of video, different perspective, something fun, something a little lighthearted. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen any of these things from Sri Lanka, or if you've seen any of these things from Sweden. And all of you Swedes watching, can you please tell me, out of all of the things I showed in Sweden, what is the thing that you think that you use in your kitchen the most? I would say the butter knife, but maybe I'm wrong. I think maybe the butter knife and the cheese grater. Where is that? I think these two win hands down in a Swedish kitchen. You can't have a Swedish kitchen without these two items in your kitchen. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you found this one interesting. My clay pot is shaking. Thank you so much for being here. Please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. I usually do a different mix of videos, sometimes some fun videos, sometimes more serious topics, and I'd love to have you. So thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time.